Good morning, guys. Very warm welcome to AntWak's another edition of Masterclass. Today's Masterclass is about our current threat landscape, and the expert today is Mr. Haaris Mohammad. Haaris, sir, has been associated with AntWak for over a year now, and he has been actively involved in these Masterclass series and a part of our mainstream program. A brief introduction about himself. He comes with more than 7+ years of experience across the cybersecurity domain. His expertise spans across various disciplines, across PPE, vulnerability assessments, and also cyber attacks and other phishing related or email related demos in terms of campaigns and other things are some things that he's also been doing on a frequent basis. In addition to that, he comes with a master's degree in information security from the American University, Ireland. He has worked with some of the big guns in the industry, and he is a senior cybersecurity consultant today. It's a pleasure, and it's always a privilege to have him on board with AntWak and for these sessions. And without any further delay, I'd request everybody to give you a warm welcome and request Haaris sir to get the session started. Just a quick thing, if you guys have any questions, please start putting it into the chat window. We'll definitely try to pick those questions as and when the session progresses. Haaris sir, once again, welcome to AntWak. It's always been a pleasure to have you. Can't wait to get the class started.
Definitely. Thanks for the introduction, Kaushik. So, morning, everyone. Thanks for taking out an hour of your highly valuable time and to this. So it's not going to be a class, a master class. I would call it. It's sort of master class / discussion. So if you have any inputs, just feel free to put it in the inbox or raise your hand, and we'll let's just make sure this is a healthy discussion. If you have something to say, just go ahead and type it out. And I'll be, because I have slides and inbox open, so I'll be reading those. That's cool. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so as if somebody is interested, right now I'm working with the TCS. So I'm part of not a blue, but sort of a red team doing VAPT. We conduct phishing tests, and we do a slight bit of malware reverse engineering or engineering as the project comes. So cool. Okay, that's about me enough. That's certifications, data master. So that's decent. So yeah, we'll just introduction to threat landscape. So this would be a threat landscape in general. Okay, this is not just application security, network security, something to GRC, everything in general. What's going on, and how do we respond, or how should one respond? Interesting statistics. We'll see a few numbers and see how these numbers increase or decrease. Recent data breaches. This is my favorite part because I've been part of a recent data breach. I've been part of the recent data breaches on reporting side as well and on receiving side as well. So that's an interesting thing, that once you start working, or whoever is working, even if you're not working in cybersecurity, your organization might have had this. A case study and Q&A. Yeah. Okay, so with the since everybody is online, since everybody is home, so we have everybody connected online, right? While working from home, the number of connected devices we have has increased significantly. Okay, so which means the threat surface has increased as well. Just imagine it as this: what a threat surface or threat vector means is, imagine you have a small house, right? Your house is closed from 3 sides. You just have entrance from 1 side. Okay, so all you have to do is protect your front gate or the main entrance. Okay, but when your house the size of your house increases, your rooms increase, you have more window, you have more gates. Let's say you have a door from the back side as well for entrance. So you have galleries, you have balconies. And so that means that the threat, if you want to be cynical, increases significantly, because now we can try to enter from the windows, from the doors, from the lawn, from the balconies, and XYZ. So that's the same thing that's happening with us and people right now. So the threat landscape is increasing because the devices are ever increasing. So right now, as of now, 2021, we have 21.5 billion active devices. Okay, mind it, we are only 7 billion people, and I think not even half of us have, not more than 50% have decent access to internet. So that's still a large number. But So yeah, this was the funny thing about this just number is that this was predicted to be completed by 2024. But yeah, we reached the 21.5 billion active devices by the end of 2021. So this means that threat vector is increasing. So if you have a bigger house, you need better windows, you need better meshes, you need maybe a security guard. So if an organization is expanding, if a country is expanding, you need much more measures to protect it. So which means that people with cybersecurity experience or cybersecurity knowledge or even cybersecurity aspirations, they have to come in place because well, it's not to get on the offending side to somebody, but yeah, if somebody was to hire, let's say somebody from sales or even marketing to protect a network device, yeah, the probability of that person doing that is low. It's not zero, it's low because that person can always learn about it. That's what we do. We hire people, we teach them. But yeah, if you were to hire an expert or somebody with knowledge, yeah, it won't take them much time to pick it up and get on with their work. So whatever domain you're working in or will work in, you'll have to deal with cybersecurity because you'll be dealing with your company data. Okay, it's as simple. If there's data, there needs to be security. If there's information, there needs to be security. If there's an application, there needs to be security. So data security, that's a job. Information security, that's a job. Application security, that's a job. If there's network, there needs to be security. Network security, that's a job. So you can put in security in front of majority of the IT stuff and you'll have a job title. So yeah, this is gonna keep increasing because we have more people coming up working online, we have more devices, we have IoTs, we have automation. Even I worked on a project with well, you might have heard of name of Havels. They bring in wires, they build fans, heating appliances and XYZ, and they also have gone IoT. Okay, I think air conditioning, everybody has probably heard and known about it, that you can do IoT over it. But yeah, they're now moving it to their heating appliances as in geyser, and well, probably not in south. You probably might not, people in this southern region might not use geyser for taking showers much, but yeah, in north it's freezing right now, as you can see. So they've connected their geysers to IoT as well. So anybody with an internet device can just connect it, turn on the geyser, set the temperature as they want. This probably sounds like overkill. Well, in my opinion, honestly, this is overkill. I mean, I can just go to the bathroom and just click on the switch, but it's being done because the sole reason engineers work is they do stuff because they can do stuff. So that's probably the reason. So yeah, this is gonna keep going up, and we're gonna there's no way to completely automate it. I'm pretty sure that everybody has a doubt that there are devices, there are software firewalls, there are virtual firewalls, there are physical firewalls. You can just hire one person and he or she can take care of everything. No, there's no such thing as 100% automation or 100% AI. I've tried to integrate a lot of products, and yeah, that needs a lot of manpower, not just for once you integrate it, still you need somebody to run it decently. Take if something wrong goes with it, take escalations, be responsible, be liable. That's gonna keep increasing, and this number is not gonna go down. Yeah. But this doesn't mean that we have 21 billion devices with everybody. I mean, we have servers, we have racks, we have IoTs. If I were to count devices at my home, I have this air condition, which is IoT enabled. I have my laptop, I have my phone, I have my tablet. So right now I have 4 devices. This just changes from people to people. So yeah, that is threat surface. The amount you increase, when you increase the size of something, yeah, the threat probably increases. Cybercrime up by 600% due to COVID-19 and shift to work from home and hybrid culture. Oh, this is a derivation from the first point. Okay. look, honestly, we all can agree that we have ordered a lot of electronic stuff, let it be computing or phones, iPods and iPads XYZ during the COVID period, because we know that we're not going to travel much, so we might as well have it here, which is still an overkill. All you need is just one laptop and a small sized phone. You can pretty much do everything. But this has been a need. So right now, for example, if you'll see, let's say AntWak, everybody in AntWak is working from home. But they'll have probably, well, I probably have two phones, because I have one which is my personal mobile device, and I also have my work phone where I receive my work emails and work calls. So that is proliferation. But the reason it is needed is security, because the organization does not trust me when it comes to my personal device. They don't want me accessing their email over my device, which probably might be compromised at some time. So this is sort of the zero trust policy thing that comes in, which makes devices, which multiplies devices. Cybercrime is up because everybody is online right now. Okay, earlier, if there's a scam, there's a phishing campaign going on. Whoever is running that campaign has a number in mind. He or she or the group would decide that we'll send out 100,000 emails, and we expect at least 100 responses, and we expect to fish around 10 or 20 or 50 people from that. That's 1 or 2%. That's the average success rate for a phishing scam or for a malware delivery scam. So we only see in news the big ones. This has become 600% because now everybody is online, as just told. We all have at least 2 or 3 devices with us. So the chances, so this means the threat surface has increased, so which means the cybercrime will increase, and which means we will need more people to protect it. Sophistication of technology and skills, it has become tougher to detect malfeasance. Oh yes, things are going much more complex now, because people like yourself and myself, I mean, we are on the blue team side of security. We are into preventing stuff, so we break stuff so it can be fixed. But yeah, not everybody does that. Okay, just think about it. Whoever is running a phishing scam, or creating or reverse engineering a malware and creating it from scratch, running it in VirusTotal every 20-25 minutes after every repository push, these guys are also trained at some level, probably are employed by somebody, or are working as a contract. So they also have a job. Their job is just to deliver bad stuff, and somebody in the blue team side has to prevent that. But yeah, with time, things have gotten sophisticated and much more smart. So if this is a decent example. I mean, I saw this last in 2018 or 19, I think, but I haven't seen it since then. So if you'll see in the, if you'll see in the example part, it says IKEA.com. Okay, but it actually, if you'll just copy paste and put it in Google, it translates to X and -IEA-F6A.com. Anybody wants to guess what this is, or what are we looking at? Any wild guesses? Anything that comes to your mind that this could be, or if somebody knows it even better, you can tell everybody. It's really great to have smart people around. So if somebody knows it or have seen it, I guess that's fine. That's a good thing. That means that I can put in more, show more stuff. Arpan said it is a process. It's not a process actually. Okay, let me just stop sharing and show it in Google. It will be much easier. So this is what you call a punycode. Okay, the punycode. We'll just see how it works. Punycode. Yeah, the name sounds quite harmless. We just see examples. This is punycode. This is just an example of smart. So this is the IKEA part, right? Let's just copy this. you Google it, it translates to this. Okay, the reason being, it's pretty much, it's actually just a wordplay, but in terms of system resources, this key has sort of a cap or a hat on its. Sorry, this K sort of has a hat on its head. Where did it go? Oh yeah. So this is punycode. This is the translation of characters. Okay, this is not your normal K, your regular K. This actually translates to this. Oh, this is just the translation in terms between browser. Okay, this is no magic. This is just how a browser would translate this part. It would be just like this. So this is just sort of translation. Or we have Lidl as well. Lidl, the Milka. If you'll see the I doesn't have that that small I dot in it. Rolex, if you'll see, the Rolex has sort of a beard, a sort of a goatee beneath the E part. So the browser will just simply read it as this. Okay, so there are also punycode converters, creators. Oh yeah, there are creators. So you can create them as well. You can decode them as well. So let's just see how this. Yeah, so it's just how a browser would read it. So punycode is actually an instance of the bootstring algorithm. Okay, if you'll Google bootstring algorithm, oh, it's a really long topic. Okay, but yeah, it's just how it's sort of a representation of arbitrary set of characters for use. This is just a translation thing. Okay, but yeah, it is a smart way. I mean, I would click on this. Okay, if they say me 99% off, I would definitely click on it. Ryanair, a lot of these are for some reason Irish. Okay, that's so yeah, that's punycode. So punycode has made stuff much more difficult to understand or even to translate. Yeah. State-sponsored cyber attacks are a real thing. Okay, this is sort of a controversial slash sensitive topic nobody wants to touch, especially when you're from a not that technical background or have that information or knowledge, or if you're not actively working, if you're somebody working on the research side of things, this is something that you probably might see, state-sponsored attacks. This is essentially just meaning, not to put dent on any country, but yeah, there are countries who gray or black hat people to attack organizations, to attack countries. We saw, well, as a country, India has also seen a surge in this, and majority of this came from our neighbors, which should be the China and Pakistan, or yeah, one more country called Azerbaijan. So this just based on reports. There's no 100% prosecution because these are international affairs. But yeah, this is a thing because working on the research site, everybody probably has seen it. That state-sponsored things, attacks are a real thing. So this would be, let's say, I am a competitor to AntWak.com. Okay, I need to know their trade secrets so that I can destroy, annihilate their business and just become the best or the better one. So I can play a bunch of I can pay a bunch of people and I can tell them that, look, this is the website, AntWak.com. These guys are my competitors. Can you do something? Can you bring me some of their trade secrets? Can you to them? Can you do a DOS attack? Can you do an account takeover? I want to log in as, let's say, Kaushik or Zaki or Imanshu and see what these guys do. But this is a thing that, well, it's usually used to happen in movies, but yeah, this has shifted from offline movies to the cyber world as well. So the bigger organization or the bigger person or the bigger structure you are, the chances of you falling are higher, and you'll have a bigger threat vector because you just got bigger. Okay, and people can attack you from everywhere. But if you just stay offline, if you just have one or two shops, one or two go downs or garages, or if you teach people, let's say in a classroom, in a bunker somewhere, you'll be fine. You don't need to worry about cyber attacks. Then you'll be good. You just need your blackboard and a chalk, and you're good. I would really love to see people teaching cybersecurity or application security on a blackboard. Massive data leaks within large organizations from misconfigurations. Also, GoDaddy was the latest leak we saw, and the GoDaddy actually reminded everybody that there's no such thing as cybersecurity champion, or these are really secure people. GoDaddy had a massive data leak. If you Google about it, so they just had an misconfigured S3 bucket. So S3 is Amazon's storage platform. It is free as well, but it also has the paid feature. So they had a bucket which contained a lot of data, and it was just misconfigured. Somebody realized that they just had the URL of the bucket and they could just access it. To access a misconfigured bucket, you just need the URL. If there's no permissions on it, if there's no authorization checks on it, yeah, anybody will have access, and S3 will just list you stuff. I actually did blog on this. I'll just send it if I find it. So I found a similar thing on a website. I think it was last year or something like that. So yeah. So it was the same thing. It was a misconfiguration in S3, which led to leak of data. So when we hear leak of data or massive data breach XYZ, it doesn't always mean that it was completely or heavily technical, or there was a bunch of like 20, 25 hackers. They just did an unmap, they compromised the server, they went to the storage part, they dumped the DD, and then it's not every time. This is the thing. Well, majority of the times when where I've seen the data just from the basic stuff. Okay, so this is what AntWak has at AntWak they're trying to master, just to make sure the basic stuff or the basic knowledge is complete within folks like yourself who start working or who are transitioning into cybersecurity from different domains. So if I were to give somebody just a browser and a mouse or a keyboard, if they work in cybersecurity or are experts, I expect them to find a lot of things using just a browser and a mouse. Okay, no other tool, even without burp suit, as basic as that. That's the level of proficiency and expertise you achieve if your basics are clear. Okay, for example, this GoDaddy leak. Okay, if you had access to just the GoDaddy website, okay, and if you had no, let's say, burp suit or Nessus or Nmap or XYZ tools, yeah, you could have found this if you were just looking carefully, if you were just looking deep enough. Okay, this literally needed no tools. Okay, cool. Any questions or anything anybody wants to put forward?
So we have a question from Nisha Prasad. So how can we be aware of cyber crimes happening and the new technologies arising and to prevent it?
Oh, you've just asked me for the Kohinoor, Nisha. So this is something which literally just comes on from daily reading and learning. Okay, I have to do penetration testing, I have to do security assessments, but still, I will every day since the last 6 years. I mean, almost half of my time goes into reading and stuff. Okay, if I let's say find a misconfiguration on a website, okay, I have to Google what it is, which leads me to a different blog, which leads me to a hack the box machine, which leads me to another blog. So it's yeah, you'll just have to Google website. There won't be any specific websites, but yeah, if you want to see what for example, if you want to see, I'm not sponsoring or endorsing anybody, but for example, if I want to see a certain vulnerability in web applications, okay, let's say if I want to see how SQL injection can lead to an RCE, or cross-site scripting can lead to cross-site request forgery, I would essentially go to HackerOne or what's that website, Bugcrowd. Okay, because these guys have reports coming in from pen testers or security researchers from all over the world. So that's one of those consolidated platforms I find. But if I have to find something about network vulnerabilities or certain vulnerability in, let's say, a network device, I would go towards Hack the Box, because that's where a lot of practical and practice stuff goes on. So I would just join their Discord. So it's just you looking out where you fit in. Okay, because yeah, Discord servers are really nice, really handy. You join in, and the good thing is there are people from all over the world. So you ask people stuff, they tell you stuff, but when people ask you stuff, you also tell them stuff. So this is still just the basic knowledge sharing, which us people are doing. Okay, there's no organization maintaining it or covering it. Discord is, by the way, free. You can set up your own server and create a discussion platform. So yeah, you'll have to do reading and writing every day. Now, I don't mean once you start a project again. Okay. Somebody asked me a question upon any special tool, any special detecting tool. Oh no, there's no tool. There's no upon asked a question if there are any special detecting tools. There are no special detecting tools. Okay, if you know what an attack looks like, you can prevent it. For example, if I well, in India, it's common for friends to greet each other by hitting them in places. Okay, if you see two people probably sort of in a skirmish, you'll say, okay, these are friends, they're probably greeting each other. But if a similar thing, let's say, happens in Europe or in America, you'll be these guys would be scared. They'll be running away. Oh, look, there's a fight. We don't want to get into this is how you see and perceive things. So if there's an attack in front of you and you have no idea if that's an attack, there's no tool can help you. So even to learn the tool, you'll have to understand what an attack looks like. Tanveer has a question. Tanveer, you have a question. Tanveer, you can type it out. It's fine. We'll read it. So yeah, even if I give someone the best tools, if they don't know how to look at it, or they don't know what a DDoS looks like, or they don't know what one of those Christmas flooding attacks look like, it'll be pointless. So it's like handing over a machete to a kid. Okay, the kid is gonna probably hurt himself or themselves. Oh, this is really nice. This is one of the slides I like, and we'll start with the image on the right. So Bisachi, you can hello. You can type in your question if you have a question. So this is from 2018 to 2020. Reports for 2021 are still not out because we are still living this nightmare of a year. So this is this is what domination looks like. If you'll see, majority of the reports, they come out in US dollars. That's the standard currency we have adopted. So security spending by segment, and I honestly personally have seen this increase. Yeah. So the blue part, the straight line is security services, and on the right is security, IAM devices, web and firewalls, application servers. These are the ones broken down in. Is there an annotation device? Oh yeah. So this part, that's just the amount of devices. So the amount of money spent on devices. Okay, and this is the amount spent on people. Okay. This again, amount spent on people and services, and this is the amount spent on devices and their production. Okay, so if you'll see, it's if this was made somewhat similar, this would make much more sense. They broke it down into colors. It's a little confusing. So yeah, so this is gonna keep increasing because, as I just said, even if I give people the best tool, or let's say if I tell them, look, this tool will solve all your problems, you'll win every war and XYZ, or this probably would answer Rahul your question. So if I tell them that, look, this tool can give you everything, this will protect everything, would depend on how the analyst or the engineer or the associate or they know how to operate it, or the amount of knowledge or wisdom they have when it comes to treating threats. So, and this amount keeps getting increasing because, well, we see a lot of job openings, we see a lot of cyber attacks, we see a lot of companies coming in. I've personally seen myself get a lot of approaches from recruiters that we're looking for XYZ, and the most common question, the most common request I've gotten from recruiters is, if you're working and you're not interested, can you refer a bunch of people to us, because we are looking to hire XYZ people and we do not have enough people. So this is, I've noticed this since the pandemic. Okay, if recruiters do not get to convince me or cannot convince me, they always ask, can you probably please help us, because we are looking for people and we cannot find it for some reason. I have no idea where they're looking, because there are a lot of people, and let alone the security devices, infrastructure. So LHS equals RHS in this case. Okay, the amount this won't be all the time, but this will keep increasing. It doesn't matter if you have let's say $100,000 appliance, you'll still need an engineer or a SOC consultant or someone CEH or OSCP certified to look into this. Or if I'll give you a decent example for a startup as well, where we did not have this. We did not have this part. We had no sophisticated tools, but we had a huge sort of army of certified and who knew cybersecurity in and out. Okay, so in that case, this part for us was zero. So which means for that startup, we had literally next to zero cost in terms of infrastructure, but we had really talented people in engineers and associates which knew cybersecurity. So they were responsible for protecting the organization using just open source tools, which is not always recommended. But if you're starting up, you do not have much of money, you can work with it if you have the knowledge. So knowledge equals quality equals power. So that's what the main aim is. Okay, if somebody would ask me what tools do you master, I literally mastered almost just one tool probably. But yeah, I know stuff. Yeah, I know. If I see logs for a network firewall, can I identify attack? I surely can. Did that come from a tool? No, that just came from correlation. That just came from experience, and that just came from books. Still books. Well, it's now more like EPDF and stuff. So yeah, this number is increasing, and this is gonna keep increasing because threat vector is increasing, and we are adding more devices, more people. Okay, the cyber security industry on the left. Okay, if you'll see the education and financial institutions, they get the most amount of DOS. Okay, reason being, let's say if you study on AntWak.com, you go to that portal, you download all your materials, you put in your results. If that website won't be accessible, you'll have you won't move any further in the course you're doing. Okay, this means that everybody will suffer. You guys would suffer. I would suffer because I cannot check any assignments. I cannot reply to any questions, which means the entire process will come to a halt. So DDoS is one of the attacks which can put educational websites at a halt. Well, the online educational stuff we're talking about, not the offline one. Financial stuff, or let's say you have Paytm.com or Google Pay or Phone Pay, those applications. If you're standing at a shop, you try to pay by the scanning and it doesn't work. That means you'll be stuck there for a while. The shop owner or the business owner would also be waiting for your confirmation to get the money. So this is waste of everybody's time. And only probably a DDoS attack can do that. That's why every industry has a specific attack that they are susceptible to. Well, they're susceptible. Educational institutions are susceptible to all of these attacks, but the ones that will make the worst damage would be DDoS attacks. Information, if you'll see information, the worst attack information can have is web applications. So web application based attacks, basically. If this perfect example for this would be the GoDaddy thing. For what else we have? Oh, for manufacturing, crimeware. For professionals, still a crimeware. Basically, ransomwares and things that ask for money. So every sort of industry has seen, but there has been there will be a trivial shift, okay, because people are going much more hybrid. They're moving to the cloud. So this will probably this chart will probably change by the end of next year, not this year, next year. Oh, there is a poll. Oh, how do I? Oh, we have Himanshu. Is there a poll, or should I go to the next one?
We can go to the next one. Sir.
Okay, do the poll later. Okay, recent data attacks and breaches. Oh, this is in just a second. Share. I don't know how to clean that notepad part. Oh, in March 2021, Air India announced that they suffered a data breach. Around data of around 45 lakh users or 4.5 million users was leaked. I really taxed that fine. Included their name, date of birth, mobile number, email address, passport information. Okay, so if you'll see the first one, what do you think would have happened, or what do you think well, what do you think would have led to this? How can this happen? What can lead to this? Any ideas? What do you guys think? What data leak would have led to the leak of such critical information, and who is responsible for this? Who would be? It is obviously Air India, but yeah, okay. So since they did not reveal much about the attack, I thought AD2 server compromised, and AD server would have AD server. Sangeeta said compromised AD server. That could be a case. Yes, that is potential, because AD servers control all the other servers in the DOM site. It could be an anonymous FTP port open. It could be a misconfigured, let's say, a server or even a bucket. The bad part about this attack was that there was not much information, and I did not see a public notice issued to people that we have had this, and we would like to apologize, or not apologize, but even we would like to acknowledge this, that this has happened. We're working towards it. Rest assured that your information is secure with this or XYZ, or we'll take necessary actions needed. There was no such thing from Air India for this. So that was disheartening. Now, last year, Big Basket admitted to a potential data breach. Even for this, there was not much detail mentioned from Big Basket, but since now Tata has acquired Big Basket, so they'll probably become much more responsible because they're representing a bigger brand. So this is sort of one of those ethical responsibilities that if things like these happen, you need to report it, and you need to send an email to the users as well, or and to other organizations as well, that look, I suffered an XYZ attack, and this happened because of this. Can you guys look into your servers and make sure that you guys do not get attacked? That's how sharing information works. If something, let's say, bad happens to you, you tell others. On May 17th, Electa informed NHMC. Okay, so this is the difference between Electa was an organization that worked for NHMC, and that unauthorized people have gained access to their systems, and now they're and they also mentioned that this is the stuff for which we have probably lost information. But NHMC also issued an advisory and said to people that, look, that's probably sort of a cybersecurity or cyber mindset difference between us and the other organizations outside, that NHMC took responsibility for it, and Electa took responsibility for it. And they said, we'll be fixing this soon. Morgan Stanley, that's fine. Oh, yes. So this year, May, Dominos, which I think is owned by in India, Jubilant Foodworks. But yeah, they had a massive data leak, and I managed to get a screenshot of it on the right. Though this is Dominos had a data breach, and this was the amount of information that was being leaked as part of a JSON file. So this was leaked for almost a lot of customers. Let me see if there is a URL. No, there was a news-based URL for this. So this literally had. So I double checked and I saw my information as well. That's why I wasn't even much happy about it, because it had mobile numbers, email addresses, and total number of orders, total 1752. That's the amount of money spent on those 4 orders. Somebody orders a lot of Dominoes. They should probably not do that. Delivery address, that's bad. That's not that bad. But the latitude and longitude just below the delivery address, that's the worst part. I mean, it knows the exact, it records the exact GPS coordinates. Delivery mobile number. This is the mobile number of whoever was delivering, order price, and if you can see, there's a date, time, year, month, everything for that order. And this was just for one user, and this was just one JSON file, and there were millions of these files. Somebody put them up on sale on, it was up on a URL for sale for a short while before it was taken down. But yeah, it's out there. If you're lucky enough, you'll probably find a lot. So this is gold mine for attackers, for spammers, for hackers, even for marketing people. What we see is just a JSON file with the details, but for somebody working in online industry, this is a gold mine. And imagine this for let's say 4 lakh people or 10 lakh people or XYZ. Domino's is quite popular, so I won't be surprised if they have like 50 lakh users. But yeah, the bad part is, oh yeah, it is Jubilant. It says, however, Jubilant Food, which owns Domino's, claims that no financial data has been leaked. Okay. So even if somebody was selling this data, they really would not put the financial data online on the website for people to see. They would probably hide it. They'll use it for their own. So this is just free stuff they put out on websites. So we still don't know if financial data, which means credit card, debit card details were leaked or not. Well, we all have wallets linked to food payment gateways like Swiggy, Big Basket, Zomato, Dominos. Okay, so if this is being leaked, well, it's easy to speculate. Well, you guys can also speculate that probably with the credit card or the wallet details were also leaked. But the bad part is, they did not acknowledge it. They said, yes, we were breached, but yeah, there was no financial data. And there was no acknowledgement that, yeah, we'll look into it, we'll fix into it, please change your details, please do your accounts, update your account, change your password, XYZ. Since the change of password advisory was not issued, which means that this is purely on the server end, not on the client end, which means that users could not do much about it, which means only Jubilant Foodworks or Domino's would have to fix it. Anything more, anybody has any interesting breach story or something they've seen, would like to share? It's open. Stage will be all yours.
Guys, if you would like to unmute yourself, you can unmute right now.
Yeah. Even if you have heard something from somewhere, that's fine. If you have seen it, even better. So majority of these which I've added, I've seen 2. I've seen the Air India one. I had somebody working who, the last one I've seen it myself. And the one in the middle, NHMC, I had somebody working in Ireland, a friend of mine who said, yeah, this actually happened and it's a big deal over here. So these are the ones which I have verified and seen. So if anybody has anything, we would love to hear stories. Yeah, just for sharing as well. Akash said, Kudankulam nuclear plant breach. I have. Or Akash, if you want, you can unmute and you can tell us about it. Well, we can Google it, but it will be much better if you tell us. If you know.
Hi, Haaris, this is Tanveer here. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are clearly audible. Go ahead.
Okay. So, don't you think that we need some kind of security solutions for small organizations which cannot afford like SIM technology or something like that? I mean, below the metro cities, still, I think there is a lot of requirement of cyber security awareness, or you can say cyber security solutions, the way the attacks are happening. So do you have any such tool or such technology in your knowledge, so we can explore that?
Oh yes, that is a very decent question. That should be a generic question I ask. There's no such tool, but what I'll suggest much better thing would be a framework or a policy, which probably would include tool. The tool could be paid or free, doesn't matter. Like there are 0 days that happen every day. Cloudflare is a web application firewall, really expensive, really what do you call it, popular and XYZ. But yeah, Cloudflare had well, they didn't have a data breach. Well, I was working with somebody who managed to bypass Cloudflare went on a critical note, and they said they'll fix it, and then they fixed it. So Cloudflare still has a set of rules that it works on. If you can find out what those rules are, you can bypass it. Okay, so Cloudflare just agreed on it. So if I were to consider Cloudflare as the tool out there to manage DDoS, DOS, or web application attack, I'd be wrong, because there would be somebody who has better knowledge and they'll be able to bypass it. But if I have a framework or a policy in place that these are the steps or the things I will do to prevent my Chinese attack, there's a data breach, there's a cross-site scripting attack, there's a SQL injection, or even there's a, let's say, just a redirection attack. What steps do I take to have such a policy or framework in place? I don't need much tools. I just need a process or a decent policy or a framework in place. And whatever tool I have bought or my organization has approved, or even if I have an open source tool, I can work with it because I have engineers, I have a framework or a policy, and I have a process. So if this is implemented across the globe, tools will keep on changing from place to place, from city to city. A lot of tools AntWak use, which I might not be aware of, I have no idea of. A lot of tools that I expertise on, you guys would have no idea of. But the functioning and working of those tools would still be the same. Cloudflare does not do any artificial intelligence, or they do not have but they still have at base a set of rules written. It still comes down to an if and else, if else or thing. So if you have the policy in place, you'll use the tool which is in your budget or is it closest to you. Even if it's open source, I do not mind if you have a decent engineer looking at it. That should be the approach, not just buying, oh, let's buy Cloudflare. Yes, we want 100 pieces of Cloudflare delivery, yeah, but we do not have much people who know how to work with it. And Cloudflare gets 0 days. Well, every device gets 0 days all the time. Windows servers are one of the most employed ones, okay, but Windows servers get patches every Windows Tuesdays because they're still evolving. Once you evolve, you leave a certain space open because you've moved from one place to other. Windows pays a lot of money to engineers, and that is a stupidly huge amount of money from what I've read and talked and known from people, but still they have 0 days every day. So, but if you have a decent engineers, if you have a patch cycle, you should be fine. You should be fine. But yeah, a policy, a framework should be in place that what happens in something goes wrong, and what happens if something does not even go wrong. How do you still make it better? If let's say things are going fine, some must shall like them bindas, but still there's a room for improvement, which somebody might bring in. So what to do when something goes wrong, and what to do when something even does not go wrong. So a policy framework would be a better idea, and then implementing the tools. But there's no great tool. I've worked with Palo Alto, and they've had 0 days every. Palo Alto still gets 0 days almost every month. That's one of the best advanced firewalls. So anybody has a question? That was actually a nice question, but that I wanted somebody to ask that because yeah, I want to put it out. Yeah, there's no such thing as let's have a great tool. And then when something goes wrong, so you go to the vendor and you say, look, you said that your tool will protect us. We lost all of our data. They'll just put out some clause from the contract and they say, look, we are allowed one breach or something like that. But yeah, you do not have a decent amount of engineers looking into it, so it's probably your fault too. It's still risk sharing. There will be breaches everywhere. We cannot blame the vendor every time. Hey, I want money back. That does not work like that. Okay, anybody, any questions, anything to put out?
May I ask you any question?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
What is your opinion on state-sponsored attacks? It's increasing day
Or
by
it
day.
will keep increasing. This should be a continuation of the previous question. It will keep increasing. You do not need some golden policies or beautiful policies. You just need a basic framework, engineers, and it should be fine. You cannot say, I saw it in a movie or in a TV web series or somewhere, that you can never be penalized or there would be you'll always be prosecuted or taken into custody or talked into by police if you commit a crime. So there's no charge. It's free. It's cost free. Thinking of a crime, planning a crime, it's pretty much cost free unless you act upon it. So these state sponsored things or even country sponsored things, these will happen. Everybody knows that the 2016 elections were quite manipulated by the Russia. But yeah, you cannot do anything about them doing it. You will only be responsible about what protective measures you have, which is, well, apart from policy and framework and XYZ stuff, one of the still the most popular and important one would be educating the people, your employees, your staff. So because humans are still the weakest link, it's not a backdoor and a firewall or a FTP, or anonymous FTP login. It's still your employees or your colleagues or your friends, which are still the weakest link. So educate them and then have a decent policy. And these won't stop. This will keep going in. Since you have access to better technology, and so do the black hat people have. And mind it, whoever or the people writing these malwares or infected JavaScripts, they have probably the same education background as yourself and myself. So yeah, they're not some prodigies. They also learn stuff. This was a decent thing I found out. I think it was in 2017. It was in Dublin, a conference by Symantec. Well, it was Symantec and McAfee both. It was held in Workday. And they just talked about for 2 hours about state-sponsored attack and how they captured a cyber criminal, because he was writing malicious code, but he was uploading it to VirusTotal every hour to see if it's being caught or not. And the final piece of code was VirusTotal had no idea about it, and it just went all green, no red, and he just applied it as part of a phishing campaign. But yeah, he was later then caught because he used his own developer account to log into VirusTotal. So they could just see logs that this exe was uploaded multiple times during the week to see if this will be caught or not. It's still the same people we are dealing with. It. Nobody from outside. Hope that answers or makes little sense. Well, this is all just coming from experience and knowledge and reading, so there is no prejudice. I have no love for any product or organization or preference. I would still prefer a mouse and a browser to break stuff. This is yes, somebody is saying something.
Hi Harish, this is Dilip. Where we can know the recent data breaches? Is there any site?
Google. There's one called Bleeping Computer. I mean, these guys post aggressively. They post a lot. So Bleeping Computer is, well, these guys are just dedicated to the cyber attacks and cybercrime. So they're not much about rest of the news. So I find a lot of news with these guys. I think they've changed the editor because the last editor quit, and he put on Twitter a huge paragraph that they're making you work a lot. That's why, and well, the good thing he told that the reason you guys have all of these blogs for free was a week. So now I think after that they have increased their team and the productivity has gone better. So, but yeah, they still have decent. So it's small news, and they have a lot of keywords. Then we can go on researching from our own. But yeah, there's no central repository to find this because people don't want to report, still do not want to report, what do you call it, data breaches or attacks. Anyone else has a question or wants to put in something to this? This is a decent discussion. I really appreciate you guys talking up.
Hello.
Yes, Mudassir, you're talking.
Yes. Okay, sir. I want to know your opinion about deep fake. How can it impact on cybersecurity?
We won't talk about that because that is an hour-long thing in itself. A lot of that would be prejudice. Some people like it, some people not. But deepfake was just created as a side project for a purpose, meant to be used badly. So that's probably we can talk about it on Discord because that's sort of an off that actually goes towards more the psychological factors of human behavior. There's a book called it's by Dr. Mary Aiken, Cybersecurity. It's about the psychology of people and how the psychology changes when you get in front of a computer. So if you want, you can try and read a few first chapters about from that. Dr. Mary Aiken, I think she has a PhD in cyber crime and psychology. So this is the Kaseya ransomware attack. So I just found out a lot of research that how did that happen. It was still a supply chain attack, but the basic, in basic terms, the attack originated through an authentication bypass on the websites. Somebody did an authentication bypass on the websites, did a file upload, okay, bypassed, did a CSRF or the request forgery token bypass and injected the code, okay. So this was a ransomware. Sorry, it was infected via, apologies. It was affected via one of those compromised servers, but it originated essentially from a vulnerability in a web application, which was authentication bypass. So if there was no authentication bypass, there would not be an arbitrary file upload, there would not be the CSRF token bypass or file injection. So it was, somebody did this once I think it was a software package that was Kaseya sent to their customers. They did not double check. They did not double check the hash. They did not double check the delivery received. So it was sort of I don't know how their policies or procedures work, but it was probably a lack from everybody's point. But yeah, the good thing is they fixed it, they acknowledged it, they found out the root cause, and they let that look, this has happened. The people will say that okay, this happened. What next? The next thing is that Kaseya learned a great lesson, and they've made a lot of changes. Well, not just one or two changes. They would have made hundreds of changes within their organizations. They would have gone through their software delivery policies, their packaging policies, their integration and unit testing policies. They would have seen their. They would have given training to every employee of their again. Just as a side product of this attack or a result for this. This would have led a lot of restructuring, a lot of works. Well, this would have, I can guess, lasted for, well, it would still be running if they're working on it, because training a lot of employees, it's really tough because they have full-time jobs to do.
Yes, well, good. Do you have any question? Okay.
So how to get on ransomware encryption?
Your voice is a little hazy. Can you repeat it? Well, good.
So press that window, that would be good. Welcome, do you have
Wilkul,
I
I
think if I
appreciate
can
you to type your question. Wilkul, I appreciate you if you type your question in the chat.
yes,
Okay, I think they'll type the question.
Do you have any?
my
Cannot hear anything. Oh, I just could not still hear anything. I think you should type the question in the chat box.
Yeah, Haaris sir, do we have any slides left up?
I think this pretty much was the last one.
All right, cool. So guys, I think that's the end of the session. So guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat window. On the other hand, the recordings will be available in the next 1 to 2 days on the AntWak portal. And also there is a certificate which will be sent out to you pending today's session to your email which you registered. On the other hand, while you guys are here, there's a quick poll on your screen. Quickly, if you can take about a minute or two to answer these queries, it'd be great. On the other hand, Haaris sir, thank you so very much to have come on AntWak's platform and have shared your valuable knowledge. It's always a pleasure to have your knowledge being shared in the community. Look forward to having more sessions with you on the platform.
Oh, this was much a better session. We had a lot of talkers and speakers, so this is a good sign. This probably would be a good batch.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, last 30 seconds. If you guys can quickly cast your votes, that would be great. Yeah. And if you guys have any last minute questions, please feel free to put it out in the chat window. If not, we will have any sessions. If you have any queries, we'll have a series of sessions by Haaris in the future as well. So hold back to your questions. Look forward to many more masterclasses. Apart from that, thank you for participating in the survey. And what I would currently kind of say is thank you so much for making your presence felt on a weekend, and hope you guys had a good experience. Thank you so much for attending. You have a good one. Have a good weekend. Haaris sir, thank you so much once again.
Thank you,
Catch
everyone.
up with you sometime soon.